Where is my Net Explorer? You guys are familiar with the Better Network, right? You got the different channels inside of the LBA channel. Like I just posted the Zoom from yesterday's call.
Okay.
That's this one here. And then if you scroll down, there's Zooms that go back, right? So the 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of my sales system are in there. The tips and tricks, all that stuff is already in here. I am going to create a Word document that has all of the different trainings. And I'll do that through this website, which is the LBA website. Are you both familiar with this one? Can you guys see the LBA site?
Legacy
Yeah,
Bank.
I was kind of hoping, Carl, that everything would be integrated so there aren't multiple places you have to go for everything.
Right. We're getting there. The problem is I can't put videos on the LBA website. We
Okay.
don't have access to that for whatever reason. So I will have the videos in a Word document that they can just link to. I just haven't been able to compile all that between all the meetings and everything else going on. So
Okay.
The sound is broken up.
Carl, are you still there? Okay, well, Bet here.
yeah, I'm getting some really weird audio here.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. So
Okay.
then, here, Sir Bet, here we have a flow chart, cost compare. Okay, so that's good. That's helpful.
Yeah,
And
and we're
then
gonna go.
Are
we're
you
gonna-
sorry?
Yeah, we're going to go through a couple of these. There's a couple that are really important to go through with the clients. And then there's some that you just may or may not need. So for example, like the page 4, you may or may not need to go through that. But this is where I'm posting pretty much all of the documents, the tips, the tricks, the everything that you'll need, including that Word document once I create it, will all be on this site. And then communication will come through the Better site. So they'll usually be a mirror image, but on the Better site, it'll probably be broken because it's all time stamped. Here it will be all in one place and it's all underneath the making the sale. Okay. And Zoe, you were going to say something. I'll let you.
Bet, are you on the channel or whatever, the Better channel now?
I went on the app. What
Mhm.
was that called? I thought that says channel.
Well, the app is Mighty Networks.
Yeah, I'm on that. I don't,
And the Better Network.
it says Better Network, training videos. And then I couldn't get them. It says Carl.
Yeah, so it's not in the training videos inside of Better Networks. It's inside of the, if you go onto, let me show you. So this is what the Mighty Networks look like when you first get into it, right? You've got all these different things. On the left-hand side, it says channels, which is what this is. This is your home page. Go to channels on the left-hand side, and then scroll down to LBA and go ahead and view that channel. That is the Medicare specific channel.
Okay, so where I first go is network.abetterlife.com.
Correct.
Yeah, I've been to different places. I haven't really understood it, but if I start there and then go to the left channels and then whatever, okay.
Yeah. So, and then you can scroll down through that. A lot of my communication goes through this. So the videos are there currently. The videos will be on a Word document inside of the other website, which is the LBA website. And that one's the legacybenefits.poweredagency.com. That will be your main source. And come Monday, you'll have access to the videos and all these pages. So I'll just tell you, go here for basically all your training. Okay.
Okay.
So let me highlight a couple of things that you will need. This flow chart, all you have to do is hit this download button and it will create a PDF page for you that looks like this. Okay. This
Yeah.
is what I call my golden ticket, right? This is straight out of Medicare and You. Just it's put together in a way that it's easier to understand. Okay. I did a whole video on this.
Yeah, I saw that video. I saw that
Okay.
video.
Perfect. So this can be used for an individual sale. It can be used on a Zoom for a telephonic sale. It could be used as an educational event for a seminar, any of these things. So this is your main document that you will need. Every agent needs this page because this page will set the agent up to be the expert in front of the client. Okay.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing is breaking down part A and part B, which is your same day coverage, which is part B, and your overnight coverage, which is part A. Okay. The costs are all down here. And so this is what the risk is. And then how we mitigate that risk is either going through one of two pathways. We can go down, which is the original path. That's a prepaid path. You buy a supplement, you buy drug coverage. You're going to spend about $3,000 a year, give or take what area they're in and what their age is. And that's going to take care of all their medical costs except for their part B deductible and any co-pays that they're going to have for drugs. Okay. On the other side, which is here is Medicare Advantage, and that's where most of the business will come through. Medicare. So United Healthcare, Humana's, you have HMOs and PPOs. Very quickly, an HMO is any network-based product where you have to stay in network, and a PPO has a network, but you can flow in and out, and your cost for those services will vary depending on
Can I interject?
if they're network. Sure.
I think we know this from the AHIP. Not that it's not good to review it, but what I was really wanted to do was know how to get onto the Sunfire and navigate that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we can refer back to this, and this is super helpful, but
Yeah,
we can't even, like, we just want to be able to enroll people. We're like ready to go.
Okay.
You know?
Gotcha.
So what happened, just to let you know, so yesterday, well, I have a guy that I talked to you about during the last meeting, but I have a question on that. But I wanted to go on to Sunfire and sign myself up, or at least go through it and see how it works. And I couldn't get on. It said it had no way to start a new account. And I assume that's because it's controlled. Maybe it's paid for and controlled elsewhere. And that was one thing I wanted to be able to start actually doing it. And I'll have, questions and refer to things as I go. And I do have that guy I told you about that didn't sign up for Part B.
Right.
Can I ask you about this, even though it's a specific thing? Just to.
This is your trainings.
Yeah, so he didn't sign up for Part B because he called Medicare on the phone, like to the government, and the person didn't explain it. And he went, oh yeah, I won't do that now. Whatever, he just didn't. He didn't understand it. He didn't. And now he finds out he has to wait to January, and then it won't be effective until July to get on Part B because he wants to get on an Advantage plan. So I said I would check it out if there's any way. And I know at the last meeting you talked about different ways you can kind of get around that and get a person eligible, have a period of time they can enroll. And I just wanted to ask that because he's one I can sign up. But
Sure.
he had cancer. I'm not saying his name. So he had cancer, which he's now over, and he says it's totally done. And he's not going to a doctor, which he probably should. I think they're supposed to get checkups. He's got no, he just has Part A. He's not poor. And I didn't know if there's any way, maybe that, I asked if he's on drugs, he has any meds, he's not. That little med trick that you talked about that can get you, oh, that's, anyway. So that's one burning question. Is there any way around so I can get him signed up?
The only way I can think of getting him his Part B in place is to have him call Social Security and tell him that he needs to explain to Social Security that when he called in to put his Part B in place, that it was not explained well to him, that he was not told about penalties, and basically file a complaint against the person he talked to at Social Security. That may circumvent the system. But outside of that, he's probably going to have to wait till open enrollment, which will, you know, he'll be at Social Security's mercy on when they actually put him on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So anyway, and then the other thing is, I wanted to get onto Sunfire and do a little, right, I can do myself just as a kind of a drill, but it's real. And my husband, and
Yeah,
get to
absolutely.
learn it and see what I'm gonna run into and how it works. So do you know
I
about getting access?
I just logged on to my Sunfire.
Yeah, so the website is in the chat. So if you go into the chat and you click that link, that should bring you to the login page for Sunfire.
Oh, okay. So this is a special one. I was just going in the generic from the internet.
Yeah, no. Use this one. Matter of fact, I would save this as a favorite because this will be your platform.
Okay.
And then your login username is going to be your NPN number.
Uh-huh.
And then if you have never been in there before, let me see if I can pull your password. Okay. Try that password and it should prompt you to change your password.
What password did you?
It's in the chat.
Oh, okay. I don't even see the chat. I'm on this page, so let me just reduce that.
So it'd be capital M for Medicare,
Oh, okay.
the @ and the number 1.
So this is kind of a starters thing. Okay. Anyway, so, okay, so I can get into that and then just take it step by step.
Okay,
And-
so yeah, let me walk you through that just a little bit now. So are you logged into the Sunfire?
I'm not.
Okay.
I have too much stuff open and I don't know where it went. I saved it. I've got legacy benefits.
No, it'll be the sunfirematrix.com.
I think it's because, I don't know. I think because I'm on your screen. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a little retarded here. I had it, then I reduced it so I could do the other thing, and now I don't see it. Where
Okay, well,
is
just
Yeah.
open up an Internet Explorer of some form. And then just go ahead and type in that www.sunfirematrix.com.
I don't know why I have so many things open. Oh, I think what happened, I think I just froze. It's like, well, nothing's doing anything. What is, okay, very good. So it's sort of unfroze. I don't know why. Okay, I'm on it. Okay, so I think I'm not on the main page where it says that. Where it says login. So what we do, careers company, Sunfire, where's the login?
So it should look like, let's see if I can back up to it.
Contact careers, cares, company, our solutions, what we do.
Is this what yours looks like? What we do, solutions, companies, contact?
Yeah,
Okay,
so I'm trying to see which one has the,
gotcha. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can give you a better link. Actually. Oh, that's not the right one. One second, please. Okay. Let's try this link. Where's my chat box?
so you put something in chat?
Yeah, I'm trying to copy it.
Oh.
It's giving me a hard time. Copy link. Paste. That's a big link. Okay. Try clicking into that link.
Chat, where are you? I just had, oh, it's over here. I just click it. Okay, wow, that's a big one. Now I just got, okay, so I got your Medicare username, password. That's what I want, right?
Yeah, so your username is going to be your NPN.
Oh, which I don't have. Okay,
Can you find it that?
no.
Okay, let me look it up.
Yeah, I actually was so rushed. I didn't bring my little,
It's fine, I'm finding it.
I don't know if I put that on my phone.
It's okay. We can find it real quick.
Elizabeth Jean McCaffrey.
One
Uh,
nine four.
Your license number is W640.
Not the license.
I know. Where's your NPN? How do you search? NPN 194020018.
Okay, I gotta remember that. 194.
I can text it to you if you want.
Oh, I got it. 194.
02018.
Okay, and then you just gave me the password, Medicare at 1.
It should prompt you to change your password.
1940018. Didn't take it, so.
Did you capitalize the Medicare? Just the
Yeah.
M?
Okay, it took it. So it's saying, it just says save. Do I have to do it now?
I would.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do it because that's what we have. That's what you need help with, that right?
is what? My password?
No,
Well, getting into
Yeah, I
this.
need, yeah, okay, so you're saying I change the password now?
Mhm.
yeah, just get it done. We need you in a place where you can enroll clients. So.
And as
Yeah.
yeah. And as we're pushing this down to the agents, at least you know what to expect for them. Hey, when you log into Sunfire the first time, you're going to need to change your password. Just go ahead and do it, and then you'll have access to everything you need in the Sunfire.
Okay, so it took that. That wasn't very complicated, but it took it. Okay. So now I am in it.
Okay, and your screen should look like mine, correct?
I don't know what yours looks like.
Oh, do
Okay,
you
I
not
think
see
it does,
mine?
yeah.
Okay.
It has search, contacts, quote, enroll, send, scope, reporting,
Perfect.
contacts.
Right. So scope is so if you remember through the AHIP training, scope of appointments are required,
Right.
right? So you can send a scope right through this link here, and I'll click into it. So what you'll do here is you can figure out how you want to do it. Do you want to email it? Do you want to text it? However you want to do it. You click into that, you'll populate the information and send it over. Then you'll have to make sure that the client does their end, which is basically signing that scope and sending it back to you. Once that's done, and you can play with that, you can send me one if you want to. Once that's done, then you'll go back to the quote and enroll.
Do you have to do that when you're enrolling yourself?
Any Medicare applicant needs a scope of employment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's practice,
Okay, so where do you go? Sorry. Your home, send a scope, click on send a scope.
Yeah, send a scope, and then so we'll do one now. So email scope.
Hey, okay, so you could text someone. So even if you meet them in person, you got to do this, Carl. Carl, are you there? Carl? Carl? Hello?
Right. Yeah, his audios breaks up.
Carl, are you there? Carl? Hello? Hello?
Okay. Can you guys hear me better? I'm trying to.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm moving to.
Yeah, it broke up for a while.
Okay. All right. So yes, to answer your question, any benefit that's talked about on a plan specifically, you have to have a scope in place before you're talking about that. So if you're going to talk about a United Healthcare or Humana or any benefit, you have to have that. You have to have that scope in place. So just to show you what it looks like, I'll go ahead and do one to myself.
Let me text. Can I text you? Can I
Yeah,
text
absolutely.
you? Bet.
What?
I might as well text you because you're an actual Medicare person.
Oh, you're going to practice it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can both text you. It doesn't matter. Okay, so beneficiary first name. Beneficiary would be Bet if I'm sending it to her, right?
Yeah, whoever the client is, correct.
Okay. Three, 606. I'm gonna do the text one, Bet. Maybe you can do the email one. And then you don't have to, do you have to put all this other stuff here?
So yeah, name, address, city, state, zip.
What's your new address?
It's 906 Pine Street.
Yeah. Initial method of contact.
99% of the time I just put walk-in. But if it is a dialer that sends it to you, then I would put inbound phone call.
Okay. Plans the agent is representing during this meeting.
Right. So this is where things get a little sticky, and this is why I usually recommend you go and getting that spreadsheet set up, because this document needs to be done after you've already picked a plan. So
Okay.
the way that the sales process goes is you explain Medicare, you drill down to a point where you have identified a plan that makes sense for them, and then this document is their permission for you to talk to them about that specific plan. So you can say United Healthcare, Humana, whatever, but you have to have the company identified at that point.
Wow, they didn't say
Yeah,
that.
that almost seems like out of sequence, doesn't it?
Well, that's why I teach you guys to do the page 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Okay.
right? Because
All
if you
right.
do page 1 and 2, page 2 should give you an idea of what their type of plan should be. Should they go on a supplement? Should they go on a Medicare Advantage? And can it be an HMO, or does it have to be a PPO? Right.
Okay, so yeah, so with bet you have no physical situations, you're not on any medications. Do you have any doctors?
Not here.
Okay, so Carl, like what do we do? We
So
just
for her, it sounds like she doesn't really need any specific doctors identified,
no,
and she
no,
really just needs the plan with the best benefits with the lowest cost, right? So we're
yeah,
going to do HMO for sure.
okay,
And this is where you can kind of go back and forth. So if we go back to your quote and enroll, Bet, what's your zip code?
so
3375.
so Carl, we would go quote and roll first and then do this probably.
Uh, to begin with, yes. And again, you know, I would try to create yourself a little spreadsheet. I'll show you one in a second. Bet, what's your zip code?
33756.
Okay, Carl, so it says, please check the type of products you want the agent to discuss.
Right.
You just check all of them to be safe.
You can, but it's going to create a long list of things that you can sort through. So that if you go through page 1 and identify, or 1 and 2, and you identify what type of product, that will drill this down. So you don't have to look at 500 different things.
Okay, well,
Okay.
these are prescription drug plan that we don't need to do that with her.
Right.
Part C and cost plan, Medicare Advantage, dental, vision, hearing, hospital indemnity, Medicare. Like with her, aren't we just doing a straight Medicare?
So there is no straight Medicare. You're either going to look at Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage.
Yes,
Okay.
it would be advantage.
Okay.
Medicare Advantage.
Right, Medicare Advantage. And then to give you insight on future stuff, which we probably won't be doing a lot now, but in the future, special needs are the D SNPs and the C SNPs.
Okay.
So the chronic plans or the dual eligible plans. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So are there any doctors? If there are, you'd hit yes, and then you'd go ahead and type those doctors in there.
Let me
Are you
see
current-
the screen.
Can you
we
not
see
see the screen?
now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was still sharing.
No,
Let me get back to my Zoom. Where are you? Go. And like you, I have way too many things open. There we go. Okay, so you guys can see the quote and enroll portion now, correct?
yeah,
Okay, so where it says here, are there any doctors? You can hit yes here and search doctors. Are you currently enrolled Medicare? That's a non-relevant question. So you can hit yes or no. It doesn't matter on that one.
Okay.
How often do you see a doctor or receive medical? That doesn't, some of these questions are non-relevant. So, you can hit that or not, it doesn't matter, right? But at the end of the day, what you'll do is hit view all plans. And this is why maybe going to Medicare.gov might be a little bit easier, because you see here, you don't really see any of the information. You just see the premium. And
Yeah.
that's it. You have to actually open into one of these plans to see even just a little bit, and even more to get into the actual plan details. So this is really where I like to create a spreadsheet out of, right? Maximum out of network or your maximum out of pocket is important. So this Part B give back, that's not available on all plans, but what that does is reduce the amount that the client pays to Social Security by that amount. So instead of paying 177, they're only paying 102 for their Part B. So that's what the Part B give back is. It's a reduction of their Part B premium. And then you can go into the other services. So I usually say there's a top 5, right? Your primary care cost, your specialist cost, what the hospitalization cost looks like, what the drug coverage looks like, and if they have a Part B give back or not. And if you get those in a spreadsheet for the area that you're marketing in, and you do that for every plan, which will be a nice size Excel spreadsheet, you can reference that spreadsheet and not have to go through this whole process.
Okay,
Right?
so we need to go through, so this isn't already done, like, we have to sit there and go through 50 plans or something. And I don't, maybe I don't actually know what we're looking at, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so
The
let me,
thing is, we would have to do it for each zip code or just for the general area?
well, it's broken down by counties. So yes, you'd have to do that. However, when you start using those filters, so if you start looking at specific doctors, your plan selection will be limited, right, by what that doctor accepts. Or if you use those certain filters within either Medicare.gov or on this platform, it will start eliminating plans that don't make sense. So
Okay.
everything with Medicare is a drill down process, because there's, as you can see, a ton of plans that are available just in your specific zip code, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you wouldn't want to, have to go into each one of these plans every time you meet a client. It's ridiculous to try to do that. So
Yeah.
the more that you can filter down, right? And you can see your filters here on your left, right? Do they have Part B? Do they have dental? When I start using these filters, HMO or a PPO, again, that's
Okay.
why I have
That
you,
helps a little bit.
right, as I have you use your page 1, page 2, that helps you to find those filters. And so as you get those filters down, it'll start eliminating those plans that don't make sense. And then you can kind of look to see the different companies that you're contracted with, right? So like you probably don't have Care Salute. You may or may not have Blue Medicare right now. So then you can choose from those plans. So let's say Humana.
So Humana looks like the right thing.
Right. So let's go into Humana. Now we go ahead and we say, okay, well, patient or client, what I think is we'll take a look at Humana and see if that's a good fit for you. This is where you have to put the scope of appointment in place. I can't talk to them about this specific plan until I get that scope of appointment.
Okay, so it says on the plan's agent represented during this meeting, I'm gonna type in Humana.
Correct.
Okay. And then it says plan use only, agent if the form was signed by the beneficiary at the time of appointment, please provide explanation why SRA was not documented prior to the meeting.
And again, you can either put walk-in or inbound phone call.
Okay, good.
Now I have a question on this. So far with this guy, I've spoken to him and asked him questions.
Mhm.
I haven't done a scope of appointment. I haven't had a formal appointment. Is that okay? I mean.
Yeah, that's
kind
fine.
of
As long as you're not
start
talking about any plan specifics. You can go through all of page 1 through 4 with anybody at any time without getting a scope. Once you
Okay.
determine the type of plan, then you need to pick a company. Once you start talking about those company benefits, you have to have a scope in
Oh,
place.
good. And then what about the whole telephonic recording? Does that start with the scope of appointment? Or does that start when I'm talking to him about, what happened with Medicare and that type
Right.
of?
So I'm getting a actual script from network that they already have for the inbound calls. I will be posting that again in the LBA website so that you guys have that. So if you're doing telephonic, you're really following that script all the way to the point until you have picked a plan for that client.
Okay, Pat, I just texted you.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, good.
So this so far, you've done, Zoe, everything on me, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just figuring we could just run through it.
And actually do the enrollment, because I
Why
think.
not? I mean,
There is a
I
five-
need to learn how to do this too,
I
right?
know, there is a 5-star local plan. And also there, it doesn't show United. It's just kind of weird.
Well,
It's-
hold on. That's him.
Yeah, I might not
Yeah,
have you.
so let me look at me. Let me look at me first. Oh, wait, I just sent her Humana, but like, what if, okay, so
So
hold
if you
on.
change companies, all
Quote
you
and
have to do
enroll.
is, yeah. So if
So
you
if I
decide,
change companies, what happens?
so if you decide to change companies, you have to send another scope.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want a 5-star rating. I'm not getting anything on mine when I do 5-star rating.
Yeah. Are you sure there's a 5-star in your?
Well, I asked, what's his name? Yesterday, Shannon, not Shane. I asked Shane, is there a 5-star in the zip code? He said, yes, it's Optimum. My sister has the same zip code and she's on Optimum. So,
Are we not appointed with Optimum?
no, we're not, but Shane said he put me in to get appointed. If there's a 5-star here, we should be appointed. So he put me in to get to do that particular sequence to get appointed. So,
What's your zip code again? 33.
33756.
There's this Humana Gold Plus that has a max out of pocket of $1,800.
Yeah,
That looks good.
And so
Max out of pocket $1,800. Humana Gold Plus HMO. In-network acupuncture, additional services. So then what do we do? Beth, do we wait for that? I don't know.
I don't want to sign up right now. The
Okay.
reason is I'm a little bit lost because I don't have the Zoom skills. I mean, I'm on his page.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff you're talking about, I haven't seen. And maybe, anyway, I would like to just digest it a little bit more. And maybe do the step of going to the government page. But anyway, so the Optimum did come up, and that was because you put in 5-star.
Well, no. So I went to Medicare.gov to look at all the plans. So the Sunfire is only going to show you what you're contracted with.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So I personally don't contract with a lot, just because of my position and I have my own agency. So most of the sales that that initiate through me actually get written through my wife.
Okay,
So if I logged in as her, I would probably see Optimum inside of the Sunfire.
oh, because this is your login.
Correct. This is
Oh,
mine.
I
That's
was thinking it
what's
was
getting
Zoe's,
sales.
that's what, it didn't
Right.
make sense. Okay,
Exactly.
or my, so, do you live around here? You live in,
I live in Cedar Key, which is north of where you're at.
oh, I was wondering what's the most popular one around
Well,
here?
yeah, and that's funny. Freedom and Optimum can be popular. But what I'll say is this, just because a plan is a 5-star doesn't mean it's the best plan. It just means that
Yeah.
they have figured out a way to get their ratings really high, which a lot of times means that they're doing things right, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best plan. Freedom
Right.
Optimum, which are two plans that work conjointly, they have smaller networks. So they're not usually a good plan for people who have needs that, let's say they have 4 or 5 specialists. It'll be very difficult to get that person to have all their doctors inside of Freedom Network and Optimum. So this is where some experience comes into play. And that's why I try to make myself as available as possible to answer those kind of questions, because it's just going to take a little bit of time to understand what's going to be a good player. Now, I know when we started doing our initial contracting, we looked at United, Humana, Aetna, and I believe Cigna. Those are 4 companies that have the largest networks. So as a default, United Healthcare and Humana will have most doctors, especially when you look at the PPO side of things. So if you're looking to put a client into a plan that's going to work, you can always put them in one of those 2. And then as you become more seasoned and understand your market a little bit better, then you can kind of drill down a little bit deeper for the actual best cost side of things. But cost might not be the biggest factor for your client. It could be that I need this specific doctor. And that's where you, as an agent, you have to dig further. So a lot of times what I will do, especially if it's not a face-to-face meeting, I will gather information and then I will ask the patient, hey, can we take a pause? I'd like to do some research and get back to you on what I find as the plan that I think will best serve your needs.
Oh,
And
okay.
so if you do that, then, for the first few appointments, give me a call. Let's run through it together. And then we'll be able to get a plan that's picked, and I'll be able to give you explanations as why, and show you how I got to those points by digging down into the process.
And do all those initial communications have to be recorded?
No.
It's just a presentation of
So
your.
if they're an inbound call, they have to be recorded. If you are reaching back out to the client, if it's not a sales, if you're not going to complete the sale during the that portion of the phone call, then don't record it.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Which again is why I really prefer in-person sales, because it gets rid of all the what do I have to record and all this stuff. When feasible, I highly recommend in-person sales.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Bet, where are we at then? What do we, Carl, there's, I keep feeling on this whole thing, there's got to be,
Path, right?
it has to be more simplified than this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's really not, but I will tell you. So let me walk through this.
I mean, this is not so bad. I mean, it's not so bad. It's not good that we don't have appointments so that we can look at the 5-star rating one. But we are, I mean, at least on my end, I'm getting like these plans that pop up for the zip code at least, So
Right. Well,
so
but I think too, Zoe, once we learn, or I do, we'll know the plans. So it's the first time it's going to be just finding
Yeah.
out all this stuff, and then you
Right.
kind of know. as you
Yeah.
go on.
So
Yeah.
what I'll say is this: the first year of Medicare is a bear. It just is. You have to understand how the plans work. You have to really understand the difference between HMO, PPO, supplement. You've got all this stuff coming at you super fast because the client has questions, and it's just a bear, right? That's why I'm here. I'm here to
Right.
try to answer all those questions. And anytime that you cannot answer a question for a client, it's okay, I need to do some research on that. Let me get back to you. Right. So you can always take pauses with these folks. But this is what I have found. And just to give you guys some reassurance on, because it looks overwhelming right now. I promise you it's not. I have taken myself and my wife, and I built a top 10 agency in 1 year. Okay. We spanned 8 states. We had 40 agents, and most of my training was over Zoom. Okay. So, not a big deal. We'll get through this, but this is what I will say. It's
Okay.
very important to understand this page so that you can communicate that to the patient. If you can
Okay.
get really good at explaining this and what their 3 options are, supplement, HMO, and PPO, then anything else can be put on pause, right? As long as we determine what pathway they need to go down. So if I have a lot of doctors, I need to be a PPO or a supplement. If I don't have a lot of doctors, I just need to find the primary care. I can find an HMO that services that. If nothing else, when you're going through your quoting tool, and we're here into the Sunfire, as long as I have an HMO, as long as I have a Humana or a United product that's a PPO, I can always fit them in there for the short term. That way they'll have access to the doctors they need. They'll have a set copay structure. And then you can become the agent of record, which is important because as the agent of record, as them being my client, I can reach out to them whenever I want to. And like I showed on yesterday's training, we can always change people because I can show you how to do that. So you can put somebody into a United or a Humana right now. And if it's not the right fix, if you go back and do some research and you say, hey, you know what? I can actually save this client some money. We can do that next year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I have a question. What do you do to make you the client, the agent of record?
Once you enroll them in a plan, doesn't matter what plan it is. Once you enroll
Okay.
them in a plan, you become the agent of record. Now you have access to communicate that with that client. You don't need permission. You don't need a scope. You don't need any of that stuff. You can communicate with that client. Now, anytime you sign them into a new plan, you will need a scope.
Mm.
But once you become the agent of record, a lot of these tedious rules kind of disappear for you.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So
Carl,
again,
if you do a Zoom, is that an in-person? Do you have to record that?
well,
It's
no.
face-to-face.
No, if you schedule a Zoom, you're good to go. So if I were doing this appointment with Bet right now, we would have gone through pages 1 and 2. I would have figured out what pathway she wants, and I would have a general idea of what plan I'm going to put her on. And then I would send her a scope during the Zoom and get it back. And then I would say, okay, let's go into Humana. Let's go ahead and take a look at this plan right here during the Zoom call. And you don't have to record this because you've already got a Zoom, right? And I would label that a walk-in Zoom.
Okay.
And then once you go into that, you could just hit details, and then it's got all the different pieces of that plan, right?
Okay. Okay.
Once you go through that, you say, well, Bet, does this plan sound good to you? Great. Let's go ahead and go through the enrollment process, right? And you go ahead and finish through the enrollment. I believe it's right at the bottom of this. No. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to go back to the plan itself. Oh, yes, I forgot. I didn't appoint myself with Humana. So you would have a link here, which you probably have in yours, Zoe and Bet, where you have the enroll now button.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would just hit the enroll now button and go ahead and go through that enrollment process. The scope, if you send it through this platform, is already recorded. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to go through the enroll client and finish that process.
So when you finish the process, is the scope automatically going to be attached, or do you have to attach it? When you send in,
So you don't, yeah, so if you do it electronically, you don't have to worry about attaching any of that stuff. It's all just recorded. Technically, the scope doesn't have to go through with an appointment with an application.
Oh.
But most carriers require the scope, if you do a paper app, to be sent with it, just as verification. But if you do it
Okay.
through this platform, it's electronically recorded. So you don't
Okay,
have to,
so I just sent her a text. So if she accepts or whatever, then that will be recorded.
correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yep. And then the other thing you can do, so if you want to do something quickly to, if you don't necessarily have them on Zoom or if you're not sharing your screen on Zoom, you can go through a couple of these plans, hit this compare email quote, right? I think it allows you to do 3 at a time. And you can hit, you can do this through Medicare.gov .gov as well. Where's the?
So all of the carriers accept this application,
Correct.
because they all have their own website that you're supposed to go to, blah, blah, blah.
Right. You can go through their personal websites if you're just going to look at that plan, but see how I've got 3 different plans up in front of me.
Right.
I've got the Freedom, Humana, Honor, and the other Honor. And I can go look through all the different plans, everything on all 3 of those. So if you're in a Zoom call and you typed your zip code in and you don't share this portion of your screen, you can actually be looking at all these plans before you talk to them about what plan specifically you're going to enroll them in. So there are some tricks to be able to do this. You just have to be a little savvy on how you're going to do it. So if I get to the point where I have done pages 1 and 2, I found out what kind of plan they're going to go on. I filter into those specific types of plans. Then I can go ahead and compare the different companies that are there.
Oh, that's
right.
good.
And then I can say, okay, well, Bet, I see a couple different companies. What's important to you? Is it cost? Is it doctors? Is it, additional benefits? And I've got these different plans pulled up. So if you tell me that you have to have silver sneakers, okay, well, let me get down to where it says silver sneakers. Or even better, let's say I want the lowest primary doctor visit. Okay, well, here it shows me that I've got to move stuff on my screen, sorry. My primary doctor visit for all 3 have no cost. But on this one on the far right, you see there's a doctor out of visit or out of network doctor office visit. That tells me that that's a PPO, right? Because HMOs are network only. PPOs have network and out of network. So when I look through these different plans, the middle one, if I go down one slot to the doctor's specialty visits, if I've already satisfied the need for the primary and they're all the same, then I'll ask them about specialty. Well, if you have to go to a specialist, I see a plan that's a little bit less expensive than the other 2 plans, right? And you're not telling that to the client, but what you're doing is you're kind of mentally taking these notes, what's important to them, what's not. If they needed durable medical equipment, if they needed wheelchairs or any of that stuff, we can see from that next line, that one that's kind of in that darker shade, that the DME is covered at zero cost in the middle plan, and the other two plans have 20%. So this is where you kind of filter out and you start to ask questions to the client. What's important to you? What needs do you have? Right? That conversation is started as you go through page 2 of my sales system. Does that make sense? So what I try to do in page 1, 2, 3, and 4 is identify the things that you're going to need to look for when you start to get to this point. So it should make your life easier as you start to compare those plans. You should have an idea of what to look for in here and see, you know, what benefits the client can get that's going to match their needs the best.
So you can do the pages 1, 2, 3, 4, do your homework and say, I'll get back to you, and then have your 1 or 2 selected
Exactly.
in the beginning. I mean, I know you wouldn't necessarily have to take a break, but I would, to do all the homework, get it together, and then do a presentation with the scope.
Right. Your first 3 or 4 sales, you're probably going to need to take a break, right? If you do pages, and you don't even have to do page 3 and page 4. Page 3 is really for clients that are a little bit more, for lack of a better term, obtuse, that want to know exactly how Medicare works, and they're just very rigid. It helps them to see a long-term picture. Page
Okay.
4 helps them to understand drug coverage, but it's not necessarily part of your presentation every time, because some people just want to get to the point, give me a product and get me off the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
page
also-
3 and 4 are optional.
Hey, Carl, wouldn't it, for someone like Bet, isn't it really a lot more, because she doesn't have any issues or whatever, isn't it a much simpler process?
Oh,
For
for
someone-
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for bed, I would say, okay, well, it sounds like you don't have any major issues. What I have found with Medicare Advantage plans is when I look at the different pathways that you can go, you're going to receive the lowest cost and the most benefits through an HMO.
Okay.
Right.
Now, what that will mean is when you go to see a provider, whether at a primary or a specialist or whatever, you're going to have to stay within their network. Are you okay with that? And of course, they don't have any doctors. They're going to say, sure. And so we just look at HMOs. We filter down to just HMOs at that point.
Okay.
Right. So it's all about filtering down to the right plan, or the right 2 or 3 plans.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay. All right, cool. And then Carl, would you be willing to do research with us, like on our first couple ones, or if
Of
we come
course.
to you, would you be
Yeah.
like, hey, because Bet, maybe that's what we should do. Use Carl as a resource, at least for a couple, and
Yeah.
then you're off to the races, Like Carl, honestly, would you be able to advise us specifically on her? Like, just because something is a 5-star versus a 4.5 star, would that automatically make you want to go with them?
Boy, oh boy. That is probably one of the toughest questions, right?
Well, I think Carl kind of answered that this Optimum doesn't have the doctor population.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said Humana and United Healthcare have a bigger network here in this area, right, Carl?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
And they're probably pretty comparable, but I can look at those two. I'm with United Healthcare now. Oh, that's another thing. So I'm with United Healthcare in California. I haven't switched yet. So we moved here. So this will be the moving thing.
Okay.
And I loved the group I was with, but it had to do with the hospital and the providers. And it was a very, very high-tech, groovy delivery unit.
Sure.
In California. So here, okay, so I'm going to switch. from that to here, if I go with Humana, I know it talks about with commissions, if you're HMO to HMO or HMO to PPO and all that stuff. So I go from HMO to HMO in United Healthcare. Is there a commission or is that just a re-enrollment or what's the money part of that?
So that would be considered a renewal. So in your specific situation, how that would be paid. So if you enrolled for the month of December, because that's the next available opportunity you have, you're going to get paid for the month of December. Now, if you put another application in for January 1st effective, so let's say that you've got a plan that you like for this year, but next year there's a better plan. That's where things get a little hairy, right? Medicare does not like any beneficiary to be on a plan less than 3 months. So
enroll on January 1st.
right. So it'd be better to push that client off until January 1st, since we're already in an enrollment period anyway. Just say, hey, we'll have this coverage start January 1st. And we'll just use the open enrollment period as your election period.
Mhm.
Right.
And then what would the commission be when you say it's just a re-enrollment?
Right. So a renewal, you're looking at that 301.
So it's the 300.
Correct.
Okay. And if I went with Humana, would that be the same?
It would be the same. So
Okay.
here's how Medicare gets paid. The only time that you get the 600 or the 601 is if they are new to a plan that has drug coverage built into it. So if it's a standalone drug coverage, the first year you get an accelerated commission. And if you go into a Medicare Advantage plan, that first election, you'll get what they call a double compensation. So you get to be the agent of record first go, you get the first year times 2, and then each consecutive year, regardless of what plan they're on, you're going to get that 301 as long as you maintain your agent of record status with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if a person, let's say I meet a person that's on Medicare and I say, it's, this is a good time, you can switch if you want, and I switch him, what happens to that other agent? Is it just switches automatically?
So generally, Medicare is paid annualized the first year. So that 301 is an annual commission, right? If they signed up during
Or
open
is there some
enrollment,
agent record?
yeah. So if they signed up for a plan, it started January 1st, and you switched them in June or July, they're going to get a prorated chargeback for what time they were not on the plan to the older agent.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
To the older agent?
Because the commission will go to the new agent, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
everything with Medicare runs in 12-month blocks, but the first year is paid up front. The second year is generally broken up into per month. So when you sign somebody up right now for January 1st effective, you're going to get 301, and that will cover you all the way until next year. And then you'll start getting a monthly, I think it's $22, $25, whatever it is, every month going forward after the 13th month or
Okay.
start of the 13th month.
Okay. But there's no problem with switching agents?
No, unless it's one of my people. Medicare is kind of one of those cutthroat insurance products, which is why I highly emphasize, you hear me in every single call that I do, talk about the relationship with the client.
Okay.
It is crucial to build some kind of rapport that is ongoing with that client. Otherwise, you're susceptible to have another agent come behind you and rewrite your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to keep interjecting, but
No, this is all good. We need to go through all this stuff, huh?
oh my God.
So what I would recommend is a couple things, right? Because I've kind of given you a lot today. We've got the Sunfire platform, right? And you can send me as many scopes as you want, email, text, what have you, and I'll send them back. Just because you create it doesn't mean you have to do anything with it. It's just a permission piece of paper. So if you want to play around on the Sunfire and send me some of the scope of appointments, you're more than welcome to do that. I would also go through the quoting tool and play with it a little bit, see how you can kind of just imagine yourself working with somebody, or maybe we can schedule another time where after you've played with it a little bit, you can actually try to sell me a plan, right? We won't go through the whole process, but we'll go through enough of the process where I'll be like one of your clients. I might throw a couple questions at you, and so that you can get an idea of what that presentation will look like. And then I would also suggest going through Medicare.gov and looking at that page as well, and see if you like using that better than the Sunfire platform, because you can also do the same thing. You see how it says add to compare? You guys are still seeing my screen, correct?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay, so you can do that. You can do that one.
Are you on, you're still on Sunfire now? Oh, no, you know, on Medicare.gov.
I'm on Medicare.gov.
Yeah, that's a good thing to study up on.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
do all that, and then you can hit compare. You can do the same thing with this one, right? So you can go in and look at all this stuff. I just like the way that Medicare.gov is, I guess, set up. It's a little more condensed, and so I can get right to the nitty gritty of what I want to see quicker.
Oh, that's way better.
Right.
That
So that's
layout.
why I'm a big proponent of Sunfire for the actual enrollment, but I really like to go to Medicare.gov for this information if I'm looking for something quickly. So what I would recommend right now is maybe take some time playing with Medicare.gov and the Sunfire. Maybe shoot me a couple of scope of appointments and just get used to that process. And then let's set a time to have you practice with me as the client, just to get you familiar with how that process would look real time.
Okay,
Does that sound good?
yeah.
Okay. And I think that probably would be the way to go. We can record those as well. That way you guys will have, and I'll keep those just for you guys. You know, I won't post that on all of LBA, but I'll send that to the both of you so that you guys have, along with this Zoom as well. You guys will have a reference back, like, oh, how did I do that? Or if you have a new agent, these are the steps that we went through. And this is, you know, this is what made me a little more proficient, or this is the tip that I figured out, or, you know, this is what is easiest for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But when can we do that?
You talking to me?
Yeah, because we want to do this. We want to move as
Yes,
like,
I mean,
ASAP, right?
I'm available today.
Okay. Well, if you want to take a couple hours, it's what, almost noon now. Have a little bit of time for lunch. We want to circle back at maybe 3 o'clock Eastern.
You mean with you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess, Zoe, I want to, I think what we should do as a first thing is concentrate on me and do the comparisons for this area. So it'll be a
Yeah.
nice, but it can end up in actually getting, but we'll put the January 1st date. You said, right? Then we have a whole year.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I don't need it. I mean, I'm here, but whatever. January 1st is fine. Okay, so yeah, we can do that and get, so we'll, by the end of the day, we'll have an actual product.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So
Okay.
is 3 good, or do you guys want to do a little bit later?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, 3's good.
Okay, awesome. So I'll let you guys go ahead and get a little bit of practice, get some lunch, and then I will go ahead and send another link out for the Zoom at 3 o'clock today.
Great. Thank you, Carl. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Carl.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
right.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
Talk to you soon.